Down the Rabbit Hole podcast. Oh my god, this took so long to set up, but we're finally here. Episode 12, I believe, and we have a very special guest today.
How fortuitous is that number? That's our number.
No, it's 11. Did I say 11 or 12?
You said 12.
Okay.
Is he lying to me?
11.
We're
It's
off to
11.
a rocky start,
We're off
guys.
to a rocky start, but you know, it's not how you start, it's how you end. Anyway.
That's what she said?
Okay, all right. We started off with the jokes, guys. We've started off with the jokes. And we've got an interesting week. I don't think we're quite with the news sphere, but there are things to talk about.
Yeah.
And let's start off with Twitter rebranding
Wait,
to
I don't get an intro or
X.
anything?
I just said you are the wifey. All right, we're going straight into it. All right.
Okay.
Lower thirds.
Okay, all right.
All right. So Twitter rebranding to X
Yep.
came out of nowhere. Or did it?
Elon do his thing. Elon thinks he's cool. Elon doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Okay, hold up. Let's here is the owner, you know.
Yeah, I know
of
there is a
multi-car
female.
companies.
I know there is a woman CEO involved.
That's
and
not what I'm
whatnot.
talking about. Okay, but specifically, interestingly enough, Elon has kind of hinted in the past that there was actually going to be a transition to naming the product. It just seemed to
Yeah.
come out of nowhere, right?
Yes, it does feel like it was an interesting time, I guess, to do it. I wonder if, like, you know, in the grand plan for like the first 12 months of Twitter, it's like when they thought it was going to do it. It feels like a lot has led up to it.
Yeah.
This is an outsider looking in, but I guess it was always going to happen. It was just when he needed to make the news cycle. Oh, to influence shares pricing, surely, right?
I don't know. I don't know. I think Elon's reign or management of Twitter has been characterized by what can be, you know, just described as chaos. He definitely, you know, beats to the, you know, to the drum of his own beat. Is that right? That doesn't
To the
sound
beat
right.
of his own
To the
drum.
beat of his own drum. And I will say one thing about Elon is we've got a Frenchie here. So if you hear like droning and snoring,
ambient noise that Elon is causing
because our Frenchie is falling asleep. But anyway,
Yeah.
I digress. Going back to it, it just seems very sloppy because if you go in right now, the app is still called Twitter, but it's been taken over by X, you know, the logo.
Yep.
A lot of people are commenting on the logo
Yep.
that it's very simplistic, but that's neither here, neither there in my view. But it's a rebrand with a lot of so-called marketing experts, us including, that many people feel that the name Twitter, the bird, has a lot of equity, and it just seems it seemed quite rushed, basically.
Yes, and when I think about it now, because X is like a model of Tesla, right?
So he has a fascination for X, right? I think his son's called X. Yes, X.com was the initial site that PayPal bought over him. Yes, the Model X. So he's definitely got an obsession over the letter X.
Yeah.
And I think that obviously this is permeated through. He has a vision for Twitter, and he probably bought it with that in mind.
Yeah.
Of it being at the one-stop...
comms arm of like, with everything that's got going on at the moment, right?
Yeah, well, the one-stop shop for everything. He wanted it to be the app. There's even rumorings of like a Twitter phone, not a Twitter phone, but like a Tesla sort of phone where you can only access it via X. And he wants financial. I mean, he's got a PayPal, like a finance sort of background as well. So you can see where this is leading up, and Meta wants to do this. They all want to do the same thing. I will say one thing with Elon and X in that. He's a master of the PR cycle, and I think he knows that.
Yeah.
He definitely knows that. I mean, with a couple of tweets, he's been able to influence, you know, cryptocurrency prices and stuff like that. So he's definitely aware of that. Focus, not on the Doge, but
She's done.
But I think sometimes he prefaces that over, like the greater good of, in this case, Twitter.
Is it? Wait, hold on. Just picking up what you're putting down there. Is
Yeah.
it basically the nerdy guy who wanted to be cool and has now got some level of power and influence and like, look at me, and he's probably not making the best business decisions? Is that what you're trying to say?
I can't think that a person of that intellectual prowess would be that simplistic. But I guess what I'm saying is
SNL, case in point.
I guess what I'm saying is there does appear to be some blinkers in certain elements there, which is probably why he hired a C. He knows his or what his core competency is,
Yeah.
which is design, getting people to do things, to pushing things to the limit. And there, you can't build as many successful businesses as he had without having some merit off the back of that, right?
No, fair. I am trivializing him for the sake of fun.
I mean, Elon Musk is pop culture now. I mean, when did Elon get into like the news sphere? Like 5 years ago? Like it's felt like all of a sudden he's almost always on the news.
Well, it was through Tesla, right? Launching Tesla, like the brand in itself.
Yeah.
That wherein it was the first probable touch point because again, cool things for rich people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, at that time, now it's accessible to the wider public, right? What are your thoughts on Twitter as a whole, threads, competition, like overarchingly social media?
Look, as somebody who used to be in the game of being at the forefront of social media back in my day, Twitter was the app that could have done it all, I think. It was actually a very fun mechanic when it was 140 characters and, you know, it's literally hot takes, the beginning of hot takes, I reckon, commentary, right? And the trending news and all of that stuff. And it was good. Then it went completely chaotic. And to be completely honest...
What makes you feel it went chaotic?
Well, look at the algorithm of the feed now. Have you ever seen anything like it used to be algorithms, right? Again, Facebook, everyone's got an algorithm. But Twitter back in the day used to be you follow certain people, that's the content you get, right?
Yep.
Now all of a sudden, my feed is filled with so many random dogs, no context, random videos where it's, I don't know, like a whole family trying to construct the perfect pull shot in basketball or some random thing or random, like just complete random facts. It's like they're pulling this stuff out of nowhere, but it keeps the people going on like the engagement must be out the wazoo, right?
Yeah.
I love the chaos of Twitter. It does get bad though, but for the random chaos. Now, when I look at Threads, it's interesting you say that, right? Because Threads is supposed to be starting again. It is very wholesome, but since it opened, when's the last time I've been on Threads to check stuff?
It's definitely dropped down, right?
Yeah.
Well, you get that new shiny toy buzz.
Yes.
And it drops off the back of that.
And there could be something in there about the certain kind of demographics, but also life stage, right?
But
like I'm not going to be stuck on social media for ages.
When you install Threads initially, you get the
hype
on it. Did you create new content though? Did you post things?
Yes.
How many though? How many posts?
Maybe about 5 posts.
Okay, maybe about 5. What was your first post about?
My first
in Threads. Who dis? Welcome to all that nonsense, right? Like everyone did it. We saw it, right?
Yeah, I think what was it about? It was about me complaining about some functionality that Twitter had,
right?
That it's not here.
I tell you what, Zuckerberg, I almost feel like we're in the era of, obviously it's the attention era, right? Like to be able to grab people's attention, to be able to craft the narratives. And these social media machines are so big in kind of doing that.
Yeah.
But to have that cut through, I mean, we had it with Sumit, I mean, you know, Sumit.
Arguably your better half on this podcast, but anyway.
Debatable.
Got you, brother.
But yeah, but just to put it there, like, I think they were, at least how Zuckerberg was selling it was going to be the place where people were going to share and actually, basically what Facebook used to be. Ironically, we're in the world of multimedia, videos, TikToks, all that stuff.
So much clutter.
Zuckerberg's aim, by basically copying Twitter, let's just keep it real, was to go backwards to a text-based sort of platform to allow people to interact in which they initially interacted, which is, hey, new world, who this, you know what I mean? Just creating content. Because it's through the content that these AI engines actually troll through it and connect through. And I think it's really interesting because I'm obsessed, obviously, with Facebook Marketplace. I can't get enough of the nonsense.
Loves it.
Just constantly on it, right?
Get those deals.
But the new apart from anything, but the new race in these social media platforms are to be able to integrate finance within it. Apple's doing the same thing with their Apple sort of credit cards and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's making money and spending.
And social media very frictionless. If you're on Twitter and you're like a Air Force One or whatever it is, and you can interact and buy it without going to the site directly through Twitter and exchange cryptocurrency, which Elon is massive, or via fiat, however normally you want to do it. That's essentially where they want to take it. So all you are doing is through Twitter. You never get the one-stop app. Right now,
consumerism, baby.
Yeah, I mean, but to that point, would you trust loading money on Twitter?
Hell no.
You wouldn't, but I think some people would. But it
will happen. It will come, like with everything.
Okay.
Change helps.
Would you
change?
Okay. Would you trust loading money on Mastodon? Hell no. You shouldn't have to think about it.
I feel like I should be asking you that question more than
the answer is no. And the answer is Elon's a public figure, right? Like what I mean is we know that this guy exists. We know that he owns it, and we know that he's a legitimate businessman. And I think I can't think he's curating this narrative in that 3D fashion.
Yes.
But he is putting so many signals out there to, I don't know if it's to gain trust, and I don't think it's as strategic as I'm articulating it.
You heard it here first. He wants to. Kev is saying he can do Elon's job better.
Dude, come on, Elon. Get on the channel. We know you're watching. We know you're one of the 10 watches weekly, at least. All right, at least bump the view rate by at least a minute.
Hit that subscribe.
Hit that subscribe button. Okay, so X is now a thing, right?
Well, I refuse to acknowledge that it's a thing.
Yeah.
Like many people where, hey, an update is available. No, I will not.
You don't have to update it. In Android, you don't have to update it. It's already
in iPhone,
there.
well, that's another thing, isn't it? Choice.
But hold up. So, the blue tweet button? It's still called tweet. You think it's going to change it to X?
It's ridiculous. Well, no, I heard that retweet is going to be rebranded to repost. Yeah, he missed an opportunity there, clearly. But just with my minimal understanding of rolling out features and updates from a tech point of view, you just really thought that you would have done, like as an MVP, just really have thought about all of these features first up. But anyway, not my pig, not my farm.
Okay, hot take. I was going to say Twitter.
It is still Twitter for X.
It's X.
Like,
it's
what
X.
is what? Like,
I'm
X
behind you, Elon. She's not, but I'm ready.
It's a very
if you
ambiguous type of name. Like, it's next. It's gonna. Hot take from me first.
Oh, hold up.
Like, is X eventually going to be like what OnlyFans is? Like, I reckon Elon would totally do that. Well, like X.
OnlyFans.
It's the branding.
It's just
the
a letter.
branding of it.
It's just
like
a letter.
His
son is called X or something like that.
No, but X to T, like 2 squared bloody.
All right, you know what?
I can't pronounce the name at all. I'm all for inclusivity, but I cannot pronounce the name.
This Twitter chat has gone on for too long. The hot take is X or Twitter or whatever. He's not going to go back to calling it Twitter.
Of course not.
Yeah, so
of course not.
That ship has sailed. Let's get this integration all the way through, Elon, and show us what you really got. Because right now it seems quite disjointed.
Because you know what's also coming next? Sorry, one last point on this. Is the original creator of Twitter is coming up with his new platform. I forgot what it was called now.
I've heard of that.
But it's in beta mode, I think. Excuse the terminology, with certain creators and influencers already. So that's going to come eventually. And he's going to eventually show everyone how it's all done.
The question is, I've had this chat with Sumit, but I'm interested in your view. Can we really have another main social media platform? Aren't we drowning in these things?
We are drowning in it 100%. But if this is what it is, right?
If there was a social... Okay, so let's talk in the core 4, Facebook, Meta, Instagram, yeah? Twitter, what is the other one? TikTok. It's the core 4, right? What else? What am I missing?
You know Snapchat is still around?
It's definitely not... That's not the core 4. Okay,
no, but Snapchat is like resurging.
Okay, so let's talk to the core 4. If you had to give up one of these, what would it be?
Well, I'm not even on TikTok
Yeah.
because I use it Instagram.
Okay, so on what you're on, which is Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, if you had to give up one of them, what would you give up, and why? If you had to, gun on the head, you have to do this. Social media,
Facebook,
Yeah.
but sorry, elder fams, like
you don't create. How would you describe your usage? Your age group is like, let's say 30 to 40. That's your age demographic, right? How would you?
I think it's 25 to 39 in
Okay, all
technical
right.
in technical groupings, but
Okay.
anyway.
All right. See, the camera's given up over there, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, 25 to 39 is the technical grouping, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
How do I engage with it?
Yeah.
I am I guess a voyeur looking at posts. I'm not
Other people's posts?
I'm not really, but I am getting back into the creating game. You've heard it here first.
Oh, here we go. But it would be Facebook, right?
No, it'd be Instagram first.
No, you'd let go of Instagram?
No, I'd let go of Facebook.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. So why though?
Because
Is it the content or the people? Because arguably you have the same people on Instagram that's on Facebook, right?
it's the content, but it's also, I think, the scrollability
Yeah.
of the other two is probably what I'm more attuned to now, rather than like on what's on Facebook.
Yep. Fair.
What about you?
Yeah. Well, no, it can't be Facebook. Well, Twitter. I'm not big into Twitter.
I love it. It can't be Facebook with Facebook Marketplace.
Exactly. No, but to the point is, it's generally how you use platforms, and different people will, resonate with different ways of interacting.
Yeah.
Twitter is one thing. Either you're in or you're out. I don't see people halfway into it. Either you're like obsessed, you know how to use it.
I'd say I'm halfway into it.
Yeah, but like there are people that are obsessed
100%.
with it, right?
Yeah.
And people that actually in a certain occupations, it's almost vital for your work, journalism, etc., etc. Anyway, let's move on. Whoosh. Let's just whoosh. Oh, dude, this camera thing is really slowing me out. But anyway, let's move on.
Don't acknowledge it. It's okay.
I'm breaking the fourth, fifth, sixth wall. Fourth wall. Third wall. It's the third wall. Anyway, I'm out of the numbers. Let's move on. Fourth wall. Okay. To more important things. Really
news.
more important things.
100%.
You told me about this and I zoned out. Ariana Grande, everyone's most eligible queen, has a new boy toy. What?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Ethan. Wait, let me get this one second. Let me get this correct, because I do feel bad for the guy, but it's just a random situation. Ethan Slater. So, what was it? A couple of weeks ago, on a big Monday, Australian Eastern Standard Time, but it would be Sunday in US time. Everyone be breaking up. Ariana with her then husband, of which I'm going to not even bother remember his name. Sorry. Finally, after months of speculation, was announcing that they were separating. And this was hot off the heels of Ariana just being out in Wimbledon, doing her own thing and whatnot. Because I believe she's there filming Wicked.
She's in Wicked?
Yeah, the movie Wicked. Right. Is it Wicked? It's Wicked, right? Yes, it's Wicked. So, marriage after what, 2-3 years, donezo, they met.
Wait, so she was married with Pete Wentz, right?
Not Pete Wentz, but he does look like Pete Wentz, right? It's all about these people that
look
look
at these
like
white guys, man.
Yeah, that's it. His name was Dalton Gomez, and I believe he was in real estate.
What, she was with Dalton Gomez?
She was with this guy named Dalton Gomez. They met during COVID.
Yeah.
And then they got married.
And then they broke up.
Wait,
so she's got a new boyfriend?
Yes.
What's his name?
His name is Ethan Slater. So hold on. Let's address the marriage first. There is speculation, as you do with he was the one that was cheating on her with somebody else. And so then they released, I think they've mutually separated, amicably separated. They have the highest respect for each other, continue to support each other, blah, 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 blah.
Insert Hollywood rhetoric, but yeah.
Yeah. And then the week afterwards, this is when it all goes down.
The week after, Ariana. Give it 2 weeks at least.
Yeah. Woo. I believe it is. then they say, oh no, she's got a new boyfriend now, and his name is Ethan Slater, and they're also in this movie together. So his background is in Broadway, and his claim to fame is SpongeBob. It's SpongeBob SquarePants, the Broadway musical.
Amen.
In 2018.
No one don't like SpongeBob. I mean, it must have appealed to her child's. I don't know.
Mate, we'll get into that in a little bit, right? And so then, so they got together. But then the latest tea is that now Ethan Slater's ex-wife is now speaking out because basically Ariana is not a girl's girl and was holding their newborn baby, being all happy for their relationship and whatnot, but meanwhile doing the dirty behind the scenes.
Huh? What is that? Sorry, I lost track.
They were having an affair while his wife was having a baby.
Yeah.
And now it's all just gone out the wazoo, right? And now SpongeBob is now going out with Ariana Grande. That's the headline.
Okay, talk about the social media rhetoric about how
this is the most important news.
This is the most important thing to me.
It's so dumb. It is so
that people
dumb.
on Twitter is negative. I hate all social media.
That's when Twitter is bad,
trash.
but it's also chaotic fun.
Basically, they're making fun of this dude, saying that he's batting 70 overs, right? Like he's not the most prettiest looking dude.
I believe.
What's the politically correct term?
He's the second coming of Carrot Top.
What's for the cake?
We'll find a way to put all in the lower thirds what this all means and whatnot. But you'll see it when you know it. Actually, why don't you search what Carrot Top looks like?
Anyway, I'm gonna put a photo of what this guy looks like here. But basically, they're saying that.
Which is terrible. It's actually terrible. It's actually terrible.
It's bullying. But effectively, what they're saying is, why the hell is she going out with a guy that looks like him, right?
Yeah, but
that's the extent of it, right?
But yeah, we don't, and that's the thing. We don't know anything about the relationship. They're literally making beautiful music together, right? Take that analogy as you will. However, how they went about it is completely wrong.
Yeah.
But again, it's their life. Why are we talking about this?
Listen,
people just got to know, right? They got to know.
Look, once Ariana went for Big Sean, it was just downhill from there anyway.
It actually is.
It was downhill from there anyway. You had hot chocolate.
But also he's sleazy and slimy, isn't he?
And you had Mac Miller.
Mac Miller was probably the pinnacle. But, he had his issues and stuff like that.
She likes trying different... Yeah, you know.
She's all about the personality.
Do what you got to do. I think my outsider view, which...
For what it's worth.
Not that it matters, but my TMZ forensic view is she wants to be the center of attention in the relationship, and I think she deliberately chooses partners that are not gonna have any level of that. That's not gonna be a dispute. Like in this, relationship.
You go. Sorry.
Yeah, well, in this relationship, I mean, with who was she? Pete. When she was with Pete Davidson, he's quote unquote successful enough to have media attention thrown his way. Not the same level, obviously. Big Sean, she's still,
Is that the guy that's saying, "Baby, are you down?" No, that's somebody else, isn't it?
What the hell?
Whoops.
All right.
See,
cut
relevance.
Cut.
Don't know.
Anyway, you were saying?
The thing, girl, Ariana, girl, listen, Ari, listen to me.
Oh shit.
Take some time away from the boys. I think that's what she actually needs to do.
You gotta do it, girl.
Because she be bouncing.
It takes more than 1 week, man. What's wrong with you?
Well, no, obviously there's an overlap and stuff like that. But I genuinely think she just needs to be away from men for a while. Because the Mac Miller thing was awful, right? Then it went to Pete Davidson, and then that was a whole whirlwind.
With Mac Miller, sorry, just going back there. Yeah. She was with him when he passed away, right?
No, they had broken up.
Okay, all right. For some reason,
they had broken up because of his drug issues.
Yep.
And then obviously there's still so much trauma about that, and I know that she's trying to I don't know shit, but she's probably, I'm hypothesizing, she's trying to move on and whatnot. But it's just, I think you just gotta take a step from one of your own songs, and I believe the song is "Breathe." You see how I did that?
Question: Can you Can people in Hollywood find actual love? How many let's just call it Hollywood. Let's include singers and actors.
Yeah.
Are still with their first initial partner.
Oh, I don't know if it's first official partner, but they've been there for a long time. Like, I don't know why this came up first of mine. Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell are still together.
Okay, can you think of someone
Like,
more in the press?
Actually, you know what's actually quite nice? Again, this is not first love, but Michelle Yeoh got married recently to her boyfriend, who is, I think he's like a Formula One owner or something.
Owner?
Yeah. Like they've been engaged.
That Saudi money.
They've been engaged for like 17 years.
17 years?
Yeah. That's nice.
Yo was like, you put a ring on it, I'm gonna make another move and leave your ass.
She'll do that either way. She doesn't even have to say that. She does what she wants.
It's very hard, right? I actually can't think of any Hollywood couple on the first one. Like either they get like
on the first one, as in like their first relationship, Hollywood relationship.
Yeah.
Nah, that's too hard, man.
It's too hard, but they don't
too
try.
hard.
Yeah. Too many options for these guys.
Well, like, okay, my celebrity couple at the moment that I adore, contrary to some of the circles of the internet, the Crunts. I really love the Crunts.
What the hell's the Crunts?
Emily Blunt and John Krasinski.
Here we go.
I really
don't
love
want to
them.
talk about.
I love them. They're great.
I don't want to talk about Krasinski, man.
Here we go.
But back to the point about social media and people actually basically saying he's not a good-looking guy, right?
Yeah.
And then why is he going out with her?
Yeah.
It's so poisonous.
It's
so
actually
poisonous. But it happens
pretty
all the time.
Yes.
All the time. And they're not wrong in this case, but that doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it.
It's this backtracking
that does not make it right.
that I'm also feeling. Let's be real.
That
It's
doesn't
just
make
like,
it right. And we're gonna play everyone's favorite game, hot or not. You just say hot or not.
Okay.
Tobey Maguire,
not
Chris Brown, Tom Cruise. Here we go. All right, that's a pass.
Krasinski, hot.
I'm done with this shitty ass show. I'm moving. All right.
It's a random choice that you had there. I felt like this was an actual trap.
They're all
but
white
in
guys
a way.
too.
Yeah.
Well, Christopher.
You could have added some diversity there.
Yeah. Jay Shetty.
Look, he's had a glow up. Let's put it that way.
He's got good hair.
He's had a glow up.
He's had good hair.
And him and his wife look very cute together.
As long as he's not a carrot top, whatever. Shitty. Okay, Kevin Hart.
No. Like all the money in the world could not.
Anyway. All right. Okay.
I'd like to actually make a disclaimer about Tom Cruise.
There's no disclaimer to be made. You went and R. You basically said, I'd go there, but maybe not. but not now.
But not to Scientology. Not now. Yeah.
It's like, sorry, Mom. Anyway, moving on to other pseudo masculine shit. Apparently,
yeah. Why did you say Simu Liu?
Okay. So let's get into this. So Simu and what's his name? Ken.
The ultimate Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
I've seen him in real life.
Apparently,
he's so beautiful.
In the premiere, he's a freak. He literally is a Ken doll. Like he literally, aesthetically, he is a Ken doll. So, tick one to alignment of character.
Well, a lot of people said no because he's too old, and they were also judging him.
Moi. And okay, anyway.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
Okay, so Simu and Ken, Ryan Gosling.
Ken. They're both Ken. You do know that, right? I do know. It's Ken Simu and Ken Ryan.
Okay. Let me say the point. Say the point. There was a bit of a not a kerfuffle, but a bit of a. There were photos that were taken, which made it look in a video, and apparently there was like people reading their lips, saying that there was a bit of a tense moment at a premiere.
Yeah.
What happened exactly?
So basically, they're taking their photos for the paparazzi, but not paparazzi, the press. Sorry, during the premiere, and Simu had gone to hold the waist as you do when you're taking a photo.
You hold with a dude.
Well, yeah, that happens, I
And
guess.
brothers,
Yeah.
hold each other's waist.
And then Ryan was just like, "Oh no, don't do that, don't do that." Like I've not been able to make out exactly what he says, but he alludes to it like, "Bro, don't hold me there."
Yeah, to that effect, right?
And then Simu's like, "Oh, is that too tender?" And then they continue to take photos, like as
They're all
men
playing it up, sure.
do. I believe that they're playing it up because if anyone knows Ryan Gosling and how hard he has gone in the paint as Ken in press, he's literally just embodying that. I genuinely think so.
Yeah.
So there is no issue. There is no issue.
Let's assume there is an issue. Let's play this up.
Because they're both from Canada and they want to be Canada's #1 boy.
So, is there potentially something here? Like
What, racism?
No, there are some simmering tensions between Simu and I'm going to keep saying Ken and Ryan Gosling. Like, do their characters pit them against each other in the actual movie?
Yes, they do. That's what happens in the movie.
Yes,
as somebody who has actually seen the movie.
But could that actually simmer into real life? Potentially, could it?
Look, okay, I'm not gonna
Potentially, could
lie.
it?
There's been rumors that people say that the Gosling is a bit hard to work with at times.
Well, that's not
because-
rumors. That's a fact. He's a prima donna. It is
he's
fine.
not. He's
it's
just.
fine.
I genuinely think
hot people are prima donnas to work with. That's a fact.
I genuinely think that he's probably one of those really unbothered people that just can't be bothered with like.
Listen, just because he has a derp face doesn't mean he's unbothered. All right.
He's a beautiful man. He's a beautiful man. Why didn't you put him in the list? Him every day. And you.
When you look good, you don't have to worry about shit like this. You know?
But yeah, I do think it was as part of the subplot of the movie. I think that you can be a professional in a workspace, especially in Hollywood, without being so chummy. Like, that's exactly what Cillian Murphy has been the whole time. That's his whole story as well.
Yeah.
Press be saying that, oh, yeah, he's really antisocial and doesn't hang out with the cast. Like, bro, he had to starve for Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Like, he was literally eating, like, almonds. Like...
I'd be salty as well.
Exactly. And it's not even the good type of salt in a nut. You know what I mean? So I think it is much ado about nothing, but people want to talk about stuff that, is a bit, I guess, easier to jump in without knowing the full context. And like Simu says, in his post, there's no dramas. He'd beached with this Ken any day. Which is the saying from the movie, and to focus more on important issues such as writer's strike, actor's strike, other issues, insert other issues in the world.
Speaking of Barbie, I don't want to get too much into it.
Oh,
but,
I can get into it.
No, we're not going to get too much into it.
I can totally get into it.
There are a lot of. Why do you think there are a lot of like extreme views on like the watchability of Barbie?
I love how you've characterized it as the watchability of Barbie.
I don't know how else to articulate it.
I genuinely think it is because we're in this interesting time in society about kind of gender views, if that's the right term that I'm using.
Yeah.
And just, at first glance and understanding, it's genuine just understanding what is being meant by some of the film's topics, phrasings, story plots. Again, my first question to you would always be is, you can't be making comments without having seen the film first.
In your view, is Barbie like a feminist film?
It is a feminist film, but when you say feminist, what do you mean?
What do you define as a feminist film?
A feminist film is just trying to push up the viewpoint of women.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm asking, what do you mean feminist? Because often many will say that to boost up women, that means you have to push down men. And that's not what this film is saying.
Why would some men feel that way watching it?
Because they're threatened by what this all means.
What does it mean?
it just means it's they feel like, I don't know if it's threatened of losing control of women or like the perceived value of women in society.
Yeah.
This is getting far too deep than I thought it was actually going to get
Down the
to.
rabbit hole, we asked the hard-hitting questions here.
I was just going to talk about how good the movie was.
We asked the hard-hitting questions.
But like, okay, no, actually, to you, no, actually, but you haven't seen
Haven't
the
watched
movie,
it,
and
so
you
I can't.
because why don't you want to watch the movie?
Because I haven't even watched Oppenheimer 2. I've got other things to do. We've got
Okay,
podcasts to record.
Wait, so you'd watch Oppenheimer first? Why is that?
I'm not watching any of them, so that's not the point.
See, this is why him and I don't have a working relationship like this, because we have differing views completely.
So it works great for the podcast. But yeah, go on.
But yeah, like it's this, what is going on in, like, you know, I guess people saying that Barbie is a man-hating film. It is not. It is absolutely not. You're just reading, again, probably, here's the right phrase to do it. You are reacting.
Yep.
Which means reacting is placing some level of emphasis on your own emotions and your own interpretation of what is actually being said without fully understanding what is being said. So it's all reacting.
Did Barbie have like a cartoon or TV series ever? Like
I'm sure it has.
animation or something,
I'm sure
right?
it has. Not, but I did not watch any. I did,
Yeah.
however, I did have a Barbie Lamborghini.
Pink, right?
Yeah, of course it was pink.
Unbelievable.
It was pretty fun.
How can Barbie get into spectrum of colors like, you know, yellow, green?
Well, they are now
Yep.
with, like, you know, their different body shapes.
There you go.
And
Barbie.
diversity.
Barbie
Yeah.
making it exclusive.
Yeah, they are.
Inclusive, rather.
They are. But look, don't get me wrong, right? I appreciate Barbie for the art that it is, but let's not forget about the consumerism that's powering it. And what's actually to come. The MCU, the Mattel Cinematic
But
Universe.
there's an MCU integration there?
No, Mattel is the...
Yeah,
it's
no,
an
I'm
Marvel.
aware.
Yeah, have you not heard?
No.
There's going to be an Uno movie. There's going to
my
be
God.
a Magic
No,
8-Ball movie.
we don't need it. We don't
There's
need
gonna
it.
Be,
We don't
it's
need
so
it.
bizarre.
We don't need it.
It is so bizarre.
No one is asking for this, okay?
But this is your chat, though. You love this. This is
No. Hell no.
consumerism 101.
Hell no.
Mattel has realized
Capitalist.
Capitalist. Sorry. Yeah. This is like they have now realized, guys, we have all of this IP in the world. We just need really, really good filmmakers to make our film fit in, to make our IP fit into the society somehow.
Yeah, but do you not think this is lazy?
No.
I think it is.
Why do you think it's lazy?
Because it's like Marvel again. It's like you're rehashing superhero nostalgia.
Well, I mean, that is why Hollywood is going down the crapper.
It is.
And
That's what I
why
mean.
the writer's strike is
That's
happening.
that is what I mean.
But again, it's who has the money, right, to fund all of this stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I support your independence.
How can we support the independence? We're subscribing to the channel. just putting it out there.
Look at that connection, that integration right
just
there.
subscribe to the channel.
We are the
Support
A24 of YouTube.
independent content creators, because YouTube is the future. I firmly believe that platforms like YouTube are the future.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
A lot of like the Mr. Beasts of the world, the Pauls, whether you hate them or not, like they're paving the way to show that this is what people are now basically looking at. You're following individuals, and even if they're frying eggs to falling asleep to breaking up to
Going
making
to
music,
food trucks.
going to food trucks, which just subscribe to the channel, maybe content to follow soon. This is what is happening now. So interesting.
Indeed.
Interesting. So let's move on to the NRL, your favorite topic.
Ooh.
No, but this is interesting. So
No, it is
We
interesting.
watched a bit of the footy this year, and what was it accent? Anyway,
I don't know. Maybe that's just your brain not computing that your team is actually winning.
the Broncos.
I had to give it to him, guys.
This year we're gonna win it.
I had to give it to him.
But anyway, let's talk about the footy. There has effectively been this year a lot of unrest between the players and the NRL, right? There's a new collective bargaining agreement. Like we've kind of talked about this, but there's basically things that they want, which they want some of the not too dissimilar to the Hollywood writers' strike. If you want to simplify it,
Unionize,
something there, right?
basically. Yeah.
Effectively. However, unlike, and and we were having a chat like this: strikes in Australia versus strikes in America. let's just band-aid it there, right?
Yeah.
So the big bad wolf that is America. If we're really unhappy, you're going to hear it. We're going like, let's protest, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is not that it's not happening. It doesn't
Like
happen
NBA,
here.
right? NBA is the example.
So the NBA has had multitude of strikes. They've had years that, you've had like a whole season, taken away back in the 90s or well before our time. And they're not shy about it when they want to do it because they know people love their sports, and so did Australia. So if you're following the NRL and you're maybe not into it, let's just say you're a casual fan, which a lot of people, myself including, I'd call myself a casual fan of the NRL. Up until this point, you probably have heard about unrest between the players union and the NRL, but for all intents and purposes, nothing, right? Really?
Yeah. What are they actually fighting about?
So a multitude of things, but it's not only the NRL players, but the whole, let's just call it the grassroots, the Women's Rugby League. They're also asking for
and like
for higher
the
pay.
lower leagues and stuff like that?
Yeah, like a multitude of things.
Yeah.
Right now, where it's at least to my understanding, is they want a mediator to come and talk between the NRL and the ARU to hash it out. So I'm not too sure, like, if the union is the mediator. I'm not going to get into it specifically because I don't understand it, but that's where it's at now. However, the interesting thing is this is manifested in this round, the current round of the NRL, in every NRL team basically taping over the NRL logo while they're playing as well. So you would see this in this current round where every team, the NRL logo is just covered by a bandage or whatever you want to call it, which is a really interesting way of protesting because, again, if you tune in and you're not aware of these conversations, you think,
what's going on?
What the hell is happening here?
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is the commentators are aware of it, and they have brought it up in various, sections of the game. I mean, 80 minutes in a game, you got to talk about something that you initially got to bring it up. But these individuals, the commentators, the referees have their badges there. So it's only the players versus basically the NRL that are pushing this here. And they've gone so far as to say that they're not wanting to talk to the media after the games, which is a big element of wanting to get to know about the sports stars, how the team went, etc.,
A lot
etc.
of content there. Yeah.
Wealth of content there, and especially if you have paid TV, that's people watch half an hour before the footy to hear the analysis, to hear the teams and the sports teams talk about it. And I think it's very interesting because you have a group of ex-players such as, Jonathan Thurston and all that, that are part of the commentary team that are effectively hired by the NRL, which arguably should be.
So not by Nine?
Well, nine NRL, like, I'm not saying...
like it's a co-joint type of thing. Yeah,
I'm not saying that, but effectively there's elements there that are connected there. So you think, again, being past players, that they have a stronger pull here. But again, I think what's just fascinating is to see how an Australian team strikes versus how a US team would strike. Because if, for example, the NRL players right now, it's a really passive way of striking, right?
Yeah.
Really passive way of striking.
Yeah.
If arguably you wanted to really impart your narrative, would you not...
Absenteeism.
Yeah. So that's the extreme end of it. So we'll talk about that. But would you not, in your...
you would say stuff.
Yeah, you'd
use your platform to say something.
You'd constantly say stuff, and players have done stuff to that iteration, but it's basically not considered, not unified, and you would think that you would still do the interviews, but keep talking about it until people just can't get it out. Like, why aren't they being listened to?
That's a good point.
If that makes sense, right? But again, you're right. To the extreme end, again, taking the NBA as an example. If you really want to get heard, stop playing completely. But again, it's such an Australia cultural thing where I would assume that they wouldn't be getting paid as well, which these guys are not getting paid millions of dollars to the extent of some of these players.
Like, they actually do need the money, right?
They need the money.
They don't have that luxury of being able to...
They possibly don't have that luxury.
Yeah.
But also, I do think what really molds into it is it feels like... It's a weird thing to say, such an un-Australian thing to do.
Un-Australian.
It's un-Australian,
It's un-Australian, mate. What are you doing, mate?
But it's true, right? In this whole time, we've never seen any sports stars. I think that's why as a side example, who is a homegrown, who is the quintessential Australian athlete? Let's just take any sport.
As of now or forever?
No, you can go back. You can go backwards if you want.
Well, my first immediate thought was like Ash Barty in recent times,
yeah,
right?
Leighton Hewitt too.
Leighton Hewitt.
Why though? Why? Let's go with Hewitt
Because they're battlers,
yes,
right?
yes, the battler, the underdog, Australia, mate, and that's why when in Australia, in the Australian Open, when there were allegations of Novak Djokovic quitting and all that,
Yeah, he
it
did.
really struck a nerve everywhere.
Yeah.
But in Australia, that's like you might as well not play the damn game, right? it really.
Get
because
out of here. What are you
Australia-
talking about?
But Australians generally don't like that, right?
Yeah.
And that's why
Because you're not giving it a red hot go.
Australians value the honesty and integrity of a
Yes,
player. That's
yes.
a weird thing to say, but it is. And
Yes.
that is the reason, unfortunately, a player like Kyrgios hasn't necessarily
the mold.
meshed in because they don't fit
Tomic.
in their clean-cut mold, right?
Yeah.
Like that arrogance or that edge, which Americans love, by the way. They love that edge. Doesn't mold well with the Australian public. And I think you're seeing NRL players, an NRL game is not a flashy game. It is a blue-collar game, right? Like, it's not cricket. It's not clean-cut and everything.
golf.
And it's definitely not golf. And they know the type of consumer that's watching them. So I think there's definitely an element there. And it's just fascinating to
Yeah.
watch. Like, we're nearly towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
With basically no end in sight. There's a grand final going to happen very soon.
September, right?
Yeah, September, October.
Yeah.
One of those two. There is no better time to get... Like, if you play a whole entire season and you still have a bugbear, what leverage do you have with the NRL once the season is gone?
Well, because that's the
There's no
thing, right?
leverage.
Because it's all about. I would have to assume they do have a plan. You would hope they have
to assume.
You hope that they have a plan, right?
Yeah.
Of what is it that they're trying to achieve? What are they willing to do to get there? And then how do you turn up the dial if it's like, if our demands aren't met,
Yep.
then we will do this. So maybe that's what they're trying to do. And like you said, with the whole cultural relevance of footy being, Thursday night footy, Friday night footy. They play it on Saturday and Sunday as well, right? And sometimes on Monday, right?
Yep.
Like,
No more Monday, by the way.
oh, no more Monday?
No, used to be.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
But it's this whole kind of sports unifies people in some way, and people look forward to the games, right?
Yep.
So there's that piece. And then there is the hard-earned living being earned through
Yep.
that with the players.
Of course.
Because otherwise what? The stereotypically, what? Chippies, tradies.
It's a working man's game.
Yeah.
It's a working
Yeah,
man's
yeah,
game. Interesting. We'll see how it ends. Bonus content.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I was trolling through everyone's favorite social media app, X. See, Elon, I got you, boy.
Twitter.
I got you, boy. It's called X.
Tweet.
It's X.
Tweet.
Anyway, is it okay to let your children drink non-alcoholic beer? Have you heard of this one?
No, this
So-
must be fresh off the kitchen.
2 days ago. Actor Kristen Bell thinks so. So what happens here
Oh, no.
is apparently...
Oh,
so
no.
let's get the context here because I don't want to murder this girl. Her husband,
Yeah, Dak Shepard.
who's an alcohol, like a...
Arguably,
has addiction.
they're a Hollywood couple that has withstood
What's
the,
this?
the
Well,
you
they're
know,
getting some storms now because of these comments.
Well, yeah.
But effectively what happens is as a baby, because he's had addiction problems in
Yes,
the past, right?
yes.
He would have, when he would walk his daughter, he would have like a non-alcoholic beer at nighttime, apparently, right?
Okay.
And the daughter, I think, would just paw at it as a kid,
As
and
kids
then,
do.
and then like just take it like as kids do, right?
Yeah.
And I think he'd allow it a little bit, right? Because it's non-alcoholic, right?
Yeah.
So it's gotten to the point where this kid is a little bit older. Not like we're talking. I'm looking at the age. I don't.
What?
I
It
don't-
must be must be from 4 to
yeah,
now
something
6.
like that, right? So they're in a restaurant, and the kid is saying, "Can I have a non-alcoholic beer?" And Kristen's saying, "Maybe let's leave that for home, baby." Right?
Yeah.
So she's aware of the social
Yep.
connotations.
Yep.
But let's open to the question because I'm a non-alcoholic beer convert at the moment. Yeah. let's just put it that way.
He's lobbying for all pubs to have non-alcoholic beers.
Seriously, it's the fucking 22nd century. If you don't have non-alcoholic, anyway, whatever.
Know
Okay.
your customers, guys.
But question: Is it okay for a child to have non-alcoholic beer, and why not if it isn't, according to you?
Look, I thanks for giving the context to how this came
The
about.
context is important because otherwise you just get smashed.
I think it is.
Wait, how does the context lead to in this story lead to anything better?
No, because I think it does point that example does point out the key difference, right?
Yeah.
The home setting versus a social public setting.
So it's okay to have it at home? Is that what you're saying?
Well, look, my own personal view. Actually, I don't know. My personal view might change when we
that
pass
bridge is
that,
crossed. Yep.
Yeah, when we pass that bridge. At the moment, it feels like no.
It's a no.
Why would you even like try? Because that's
It's making it okay in the
that
beginning,
then
right?
bridges onto something else, right? Potentially, but. You also, we also have to remember we're not the parents in this situation, and I'm sure that they have their reason to do that because there's some, I don't know what the research is, but they do say that there is something about giving early exposure of like to your kids on some of this stuff can actually prevent them from jumping into alcoholism or drugs or stuff like that. If you kind of let them away, again, I probably have to go actually find it and whatnot, but I do remember hearing about it's better to kind of let them know what it is and let them experience it now so that they can help form their view of what it is and if it's bad, as opposed to saying, if it's completely bad, of course kids are going to rebel and they're going to want to do it anyway, right?
Yep.
I mean, vaping for crying out loud, right? So
it's an interesting one.
So my stance is no, but again, I can understand if it is non-alcoholic, why a parent would think that's okay. Again, it's up to the parent, I think, to make that call, because I'm not going to parenting is just, as I'm just learning, parenting is very hard.
Yeah.
So I don't think we should condemn, again, probably the whole theme of this show is let's not jump to conclusions on situations that we don't know anything about.
Let's put some clickbaity titles.
Oh gosh,
and
which is
thumbnails
ultimately
like this.
Which is ultimately, it's just
part of the game.
It is what it is. Yeah. What do you think about it?
I think it's an interesting conversation. Yeah, it's no. It's a no now. It's definitely no. To me, it's akin to saying, let's give chocolates to kids that are in the shape of weed or something like that. It's a terrible example.
I was terrified for what you were going to say next.
It's a terrible example, but like there's certain things that they just don't need that encouragement any early on, effectively.
It's a weird time that we're coming into, right?
But the interesting thing is non-alcoholic drinks and alternatives are coming in. Like this is not a thing. It wasn't a thing almost 5 years ago. Definitely wasn't a thing a decade ago, right?
And this is the thing as well, right? Sorry, I just need to say, it's like your own view of something at one given point of time can ultimately change because as you find out more information, right? Like it's...
To me,
to be condemned for it...
Yeah, it's hard, but let kids be kids. Like alcohol and alcohol alternatives. So I had this question because you can only buy non-alcoholic beer in alcoholic shops, right? So I actually
really
yeah. Don't worry about Aldi and that, but like you still need to show your thing, which is basically you.
But why?
Because it's still classified as an alcohol object. That's the irony of it. So I asked this question to someone that's there, and I'm just asked the question, even though. Do I have to still give you my license even though it's a non-alcohol? And he said, yeah. The answer is yes. So there's still that blurring lines. I don't know about the taxable component of that. And I'm sure that they're going to... I mean, most of these non-alcoholic drinks are like 70% of an alcoholic. They're even more expensive in certain cases.
Yeah, because of the
insane.
The economics of it all, right?
It's insane. But let kids be kids.
And that's the thing. To your point, it's, again... Policy is forever changing based on human kind of understanding, right? So what am I trying to say here? It's still an evolving thing. So like a stance for right now, just based on what you know, could easily change down the track.
That's a legal stance, but like everyone has their own personal stance. But I think in this example, Kirsten knows. Kirsten. That... socially, it's so that's why she's like, let's keep that for home.
How did she bring it up? Was it in his podcast or something? Or
you know that talk show that Kelly Clarkson has?
Oh, okay.
It was there. It was there. Anyway, I thought it was an interesting chatter. We've come to the conclusion. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining the show. Can you tell the guys what they can do to support the show?
Like and subscribe. Ring that bell. Do we still ring bells? Yeah, we still ring bells. Get them notifications.
Bells. Leave us some comments below, and we hope to see you next time.
Yes, we want to hear all your thoughts about it. Please and thank you.
Pew pew.
Pew pew.